Outdoors Delmarva covers everything outdoors,
including real hunting and fishing situations involving wildlife.
We do our best each week to keep it tasteful, but discretion is advised.
Now, enjoy the show. This week on Outdoors Delmarva.
It's the final weekend of the spring trophy rockfish season. We're taking a trip out on the Chesapeake Bay for one last shot at reeling in the big boys. Then, talk about an adrenaline rush. We're the first in line to check out Ocean City's newest extreme outdoor attraction. And we'll tie up to the rocks and try our luck, while one of the most finicky of fish tests our patience.
Right now on Outdoors Delmarva. Hi everybody, thanks for watching Outdoors Delmarva. I'm Captain Willie Dykes.
And I'm Mike Parker, and we're happy you could join us for another week of adventures. I mean, Willie, I think it's going to be a good one. Though I gotta say, beautiful spring weather aside, kind of bittersweet this week because, man, already we're saying farewell to the spring trophy rockfish season.
Yeah, Mike, it went by fast. But we were able to squeeze in one last trip out on the Chesapeake Bay where this group of avid anglers wasn't about to give up until they limited out. Let's take a look. Trophy rockfish awaited these 7 anglers aboard the Fish Magnet out of Dorchester County. Piloted by Captain Phil Goody, the boat makes good time and glides under the Hooper's Island Bridge, out to some of the best fishing on the bay. But rough seas will make this day a challenge.
Planer boards, we're putting them out, put one at a time, and then when the fish hits the clip, it breaks it, and then you have it on the rod here. We usually start putting these out first.
Skipper Phil sets the first of which will eventually be 18 lines deployed at different depths behind the trolling Fish Magnet. This short season for Trophy Rock, which runs from mid-April to mid-May, is the best chance to catch these monsters, which must measure at least 28 inches or more to keep.
That's what I'm talking about.
The fishermen today are optimistic.
Oh, I think we'll all get one. You got a great captain. He stays out here and you get him.
What would be the ideal thing that you could hope for today?
Well, a great big rock, about a 48-pounder.
And with Captain Phil's help, Wayne's first up, and judging by the load on the line, he's hooked a whopper.
Great day when you can catch fish. Rockfish out here with Captain Phil.
Get in there now. Got it. Lift up on it. Got it. Lift up on the whole thing. Perfect. Okay, push it out there. We got it.
Good job, man. Feels great. What do you think?
And there she is, fish number 1.
Pretty tired. This is when you know how weak you really are.
Come on, Big Daddy.
Fish number 2 strikes quickly and Nick mans the reel. But this rock spits out the bait and Nick will have to go again.
Have to do this one more time. But that's okay. That means I get to do it twice. Nothing wrong with that.
But the choppy surface has taken its toll and Nick needs a sit down, giving up his spot to Todd.
All right, man. Yeah. It's a good day out fishing. Better working.
Who lands rock number 2. Matt's next with a smaller version. She's no guppy though, and after a quick measurement, this legal fish becomes number 3, and it's stowed away. The sun is shining on Bart today, who battles the next rock.
All right, bro.
She's a beauty, and the cameras record the catch of rock number 4. Now let's see what Don's got. Judging by the dip on the rod, that's no minnow.
Well, I tell you what, he's fighting.
There you go. Oh, Donnie.
He ain't getting slack. He's pulling.
Oh, nice. Put it down there. We got it.
48-pounder on.
There it is.
Don has reeled in the biggest one yet.
catch that 48-pounder I told you I was going to get.
That is huge. Let me go fishing now. Wait.
Now comes Doug's turn.
That's a keep. All right. Man, I didn't think I'd catch him.
But time is running out for Nick, who's feeling better after the swells calm down. And it seems like his luck has just turned for the better.
Come on, baby, this is it. Here you go, here it is. Come on up for Nick.
For with the setting of the sun, Nick lands the last fish, and he couldn't be happier.
Come on, baby. Hey, man. This is great. Let's go fishing.
A successful day of fishing over, all 7 sportsmen will return with a trophy.
Get outdoors, Delmarva.
We want to thank Captain Phil Goody and the gang for having us aboard. Now stick around, because we're not through with that rockfish. Later in the show, we'll meet up with a local chef who will show us how to put a gourmet twist on that locally favorite fish.
Coming up next on Outdoors Delmarva, we're keeping the fishing poles handy as we head from the Chesapeake over to the Delaware Bay. See how we fare when we go togging. But first, did you know? The current world record rockfish, or striped bass, was caught by a surf fisherman in New Jersey back in 1982. How big was it? The answer when we come back.
Outdoors Delmarva is sponsored by Shorts Marine, Shooter's Choice, and Goody's Marine. Outdoors Delmarva will be right back.
All right, bro. All right.
Did you know? The current world record rockfish, or striped bass, was caught in 1982 by a surf fisherman in New Jersey. The fish was 53 inches long and weighed 78.5 pounds.
Thanks for watching Outdoors Delmarva. I'm Mike Parker, and if you watched last week's episode, you saw I was out here doing a little tog fishing aboard the Indian with Captain Ted Molyneux and the crew based out of the Anglers Fishing Center in Lewis, Delaware. And at the time, we gave ourselves a little bit of a challenge. Get out here on the breakwater and try to pull some tog out of the rocks. Take a look. We did pretty good.
Okay, this morning we got one of my captains, Captain Brian. That's Kevin Bosch, Joel Robinson, and then a good friend of mine, Chuck Coverdale.
During a week that was tarnished by high winds and pop-up thunderstorms, the fishing gods must have been with us this Tuesday morning when we set out from the Anglers Fishing Center in Lewis.
We're gonna fish the outer wall. Basically, we use a simple top and bottom rig. Very little hardware, just 2 dropper loops with 2 hooks.
Captain Ted Molyneux and his crew are known to tear up the tog this time of year, picking them right out of the rocks that make up the breakwater on Delaware Bay.
They say on a tog, if you think you're gonna get a bite, set the hook, because they're good bait stealers. It definitely takes a lot of practice to learn how to catch one, and it is a very coveted fish.
Now, to effectively fish here, you've got to get hitched, meaning just an anchor won't do, or you'll drift right into the rocks. So to do it right, we'll be throwing out a rope connected to an old piece of pipe, just perfect to get stuck. Once we're lodged tightly in the rocks, we pull tight, stabilizing ourselves between the front anchor and rear rope hold. With the boat in place, it's time to fish. And using green crabs, shrimp, and clams for bait, the idea is to drop the weighted line close to the boat, then feel around for a hole in the rocks below. Because there, my friends, is where the blackfish lie.
Basically, you just walk around the boat and look for holes, and it's a nice day to be out here, though. So, a little more difficult getting on these rocks than most people think. You know, you got to know what you're doing.
Just a few minutes in, it's looking like we're in for a good bite when the boys start bringing the tog aboard. few too small, mixed with a few keepers, is a good sign that we could have a shot at our 3 fish per person limit.
Nice fish.
Not bees, please. How long are we going to go in the bucket?
17.
Pork chop. Small.
But as the morning moves on, it's not as fast and furious. And with the changing of the tide, so changes the bite.
How's it going?
Slow.
For you?
For me. Very unusual.
And now it seems like we're feeding these sneaky fish more than we're hooking them up. With strong, almost human-looking teeth, tautog are capable of chomping through crab and clamshells and picking around a hook like a thief in the night.
You just want to leave it set in the hole. Oh. And you'll feel a hit like the guy like Joel just got and missed. But it's a little bit of a finesse.
That's what they do. Empty hook.
But as a day of togging goes, it's still been a good one. A few big boys have filled out the cooler and will make a heck of a meal. And the challenge of catching a fish that makes a living of not being caught is something to be proud of. For the captain and crew of the Indian, it's another day on the bay. Just another day at the office.
Get outdoors, Delmarva.
Well, you know, personally, I wish I could have added a couple more fish to the bucket, but sometimes that's how things go, especially when you're kind of learning your way around a new species like tog. But hey, the tog are a cold water fish that like to hang out in places like this in the spring and then back again in the fall. So grab your gear and grab your patience, because you'll need it.
Coming up next on Outdoors Delmarva, Mike's back with an extreme outdoor activity that's zipping its way to Ocean City. Get a first-person perspective. Plus, you won't want to miss this week's Scorchy's Corner Classic.
Don't go anywhere. Outdoors Delmarva will be right back.
Thanks for watching Outdoors Delmarva. I'm Mike Parker. You know, people always say to me, Mike, how'd you get such a cool job? You get to go out on all these awesome adventures all the time. And I say, well, I think I'm just lucky. And I think that holds true today, because this afternoon I'm here at the Jolly Roger Amusement Park in downtown Ocean City, Maryland, where I'm going to be one of the first people on Delmarva to try out the new extreme zip lines. Let's check it out.
There is something to be said about somebody willing to stand on a tiny wooden platform 3 stories above a concrete go-kart track. They're crazy. Well then, crazy just became the newest attraction at the Jolly Roger Amusement Park in Ocean City with the new extreme zip lines.
The gist is, it's just like they have zip lines in Costa Rica and Mexico. We put zip lines here over top of go-karts.
For this story, we'll be giving you an extreme first-person perspective of what it's like to strap up, latch in, and swoop down a course of zips. My first zip is fast and fun, even though my landing was a little rough.
It's a bit of a rough landing.
Well, that's my bad. Fear tends to get in the way of safety advice. But by the next zip, my nerves have settled and my landing is as smooth as silk.
Those first 2 zips were killer, a lot of fun. Now it's time to hit some obstacles. We're talking cargo net here.
And it's a lot tougher than it looks. When I reach the top, I'm ready to put the camera in somebody else's hands for a bit.
It's higher up there than you realize until you get up there, but it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Well, when you jump off the first tower, I mean, it makes you wonder, but after that, it was, you got used to it.
All right, we've gone through the zip course. It's been fast and furious. Now it's time to get down. And they call this
the leap of faith. And even though it's the shortest drop yet, it's a mental menace when you've got to trust the gear as you jump and glide slowly to the ground below.
And get outdoors, Delmarva.
And now, it's time to visit with an old friend. Here's this week's Scorchy's Corner Classic.
They came on board the Shutterbug exuding the confidence we had instilled in them the day before. Unknowingly, at this point, the rose garden we had promised them would be devoid of roses for the first couple of hours that we fished. But finally, the chum honed in on a few blues, and the last hour of the day was one of bent rods and smiling faces.
Hey, come.
Well, you got easy come, easy go. We finally raised these fish after a lot of patience and chum in 8 feet of water, a mile or so off Fox Island. Scorchy Toes wandering our Delmarvelous land for WBOC News.
Coming up next on Outdoors Delmarva, it's a rockfish recipe you won't want to miss.
Don't go anywhere. Outdoors Delmarva will be right back.
Thanks for watching Outdoors Delmarva. I'm Captain Willie Dykes. Earlier in the show, we showed you 7 huge rockfish being hauled aboard the Fish Magnet. Well, there was an 8th monster rock taken that day by our own Outdoors Delmarva producer, Chopper Chuck Regner. Now, we've taken some of that fresh rock to award-winning chef Jim Hughes at Restaurant 213 in Fruitland. Jim, how are you going to do justice to that rockfish?
We're going to do the very classical French rockfish papillote, and that's basically a rockfish cooked in paper. We're going to use a cast iron skillet, a little bit of oil. I use canola oil. You really don't want to use olive oil because this pan is already about 400 degrees and the olive oil is going to start to burn. So I have my beautiful piece of rockfish that you all caught on the boat, and we want to season that with a little bit of salt and pepper. On the second pan, I'm just going to heat that up with a little bit of olive oil. I'm going to take red peppers, green peppers, diced onions. I have some fresh tomatoes. I'm just going to add a touch of fresh garlic, some salt and pepper. We always want to season. My fish starting to get really nice. Turn it over. We just want to saute this a few seconds and just kind of turn it up. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of white wine. Start to get nice flavors. We turn the fish over. Now I have really nice marks on that. Touch it with a little bit of salt and pepper. And that's it. Very simple. Let this simmer down a little bit. A sheet of parchment paper. Make a big heart. Place the fish on the parchment paper. Beautifully sauteed vegetables with a little bit of wine. Make sure you got a seal. Just a little bit of oil and just rub it around. And it goes right in the oven. 6 or 7 minutes, you have absolutely the best rockfish you've ever had.
I'm going back to the aromas, the smells when that's cooking. This is going to be something really special.
See that puff? Then you just open that up and serve it just like that to your guests, like that, in papillote.
Delicate, fresh, delicious. We'll be right back, and it's going to be gone, Mike. Sorry.
Coming up next on Outdoors Delmarva, we've put the viewer venture cam in the hands of a local expert as he heads out on some birding excursions. Plus, we'll take a look at your latest viewer photos.
Outdoors Delmarva viewer pictures are sponsored by North Bay Marina. Outdoors Delmarva is sponsored by Shorts Marine, Shooter's Choice, and Goodies Marine.
It's time now to take a look at some of the pictures and videos sent in by our own Outdoors Delmarva viewers.
And Willie, we love it when the adventures come to us. And this week we've got some viewer Venture Cam video sent in to us by a good friend of Outdoors Delmarva, Jim Rapp.
Hi, Mike and Captain Willie. It's Jim Rapp with the Delmarva Birding Weekend. I'm waiting here at the Nassawango Creek Preserve for the first Saturday trip of the Delmarva Birding Weekend. We're going to be kayaking and canoeing here in the creek looking for warblers, barred owls, wood ducks, and hopefully many other species.
Well, Jim was part of that recent 4-day event, which offered dozens of excursions up and down the peninsula. The first trip he's showing us is a canoeing adventure on the Nassawango Creek near Snow Hill in Worcester County. While the guide attempts to call in a barred owl, there is also a sighting of a prothonotary warbler, a small, bright yellow bird. Next stop is the coastal bays around Ocean City, where this pontoon boat full of birders spots snow egrets, great egrets, gulls, and oyster catchers basking on the small islands.
We have had a blast with the Viewer Venture Cam chasing birds all around the Delmarva Peninsula as part of the Delmarva Birding Weekend. Our grand total species list for the 4-day event is creeping up above 190. Those are resident birds and migrants moving through the peninsula right now. So we encourage viewers to grab a pair of binoculars, get out in the field, and now I'm going to throw it back to you.
Thanks, Jim. That looked like a lot of fun. Now let's check out some photos.
Sticking with the birds for a bit, Walter Monroe from Millsboro sent in these shots of some eagles that he spotted. Believe it or not, while he was turkey hunting recently, Willie, I'm guessing the turkeys were probably hidden well out of sight that day.
Here's a shot posted on the Outdoors Delmarva Facebook page. The guys from Master Glass and Shower Door of Salisbury held their company trip out on the water, having a blast and catching their limit of rock aboard the Kingfish 2 with Captain Harry Neal.
And Paul Bianco from Chestertown sent in this shot of an old Scorchy Taw's official fishing rag. Paul said he found this classic at a local antique shop and proudly displays it inside his home. Well, we love sharing your outdoor photos and videos here on the show, so please keep them coming. Just email me at mparker@wboc.com or post them over on the Outdoors Delmarva Facebook page.
Well, I don't know about you, Mike, but that was one of my favorite weeks of adventures yet.
You would say that, Willie. You got to do the cooking segment with that trophy rockfish.
Well, Mike, things like that come to you when you're pure of heart.
Or full of rockfish. For Captain Willie Dykes, I'm Mike Parker, reminding you to get outdoors, Delmarva.